When I tell you that every single person in my life has heard this spiel, the ultimate formula for the most success that you could ever acquire in your life, this is what I think is the only thing that anyone on this planet needs to worry about. When you follow the formula day by day, not only will you get to the success way faster than you ever would have in any of these get quick rich methods that don't actually work, but you're going to be happy and you're going to be fulfilled. And the universe is literally going to support you in ways that you never would have even dreamed of. The formula is not my formula. The formula actually comes from Darryl Anka, who channels an entity called Bashar. If you want me to do a video talking about him and how I came across him, I'd be happy to do that. But this video is not about that. This video is just about the formula itself that he talks about all the time. The formula has 4 principles that we're going to go over in this video, and they are so simple. You're going to be like, this is way too simple, there's no way. And I can guarantee you that it does, because it has worked in my life and it continues to work in my life. This is literally how I live my life day by day. And I've influenced those around me to do the same. And I'm still trying to influence other people to do the same, because we have this weird mentality in this materialistic world that you need to work really hard to be successful. You need to work really hard for your money. You think that the time you put in is the money you're going to get out. Well, it's not. It is much simpler than that. And unfortunately, a lot of people pursue things that they're genuinely not passionate about to make their money. The formula is not to become an entrepreneur. No, this is not a business model. This is a way of living. A way of living that is going to bring you happiness, fulfillment, satisfaction, peace, and financial freedom. I think another thing that we need to talk about is how you define success. I personally do not define success by how much money you make, by how many things you have. I don't care about your car. I don't care about where you live. I don't care about the clothes you wear and the watch you have. Cool, they're nice to have, but that does not mean that you are successful. I know a lot of people who are broke as shit, $2,000 car payments, wearing all these chains and diamonds and designer clothing, and they are broke as fuck. It is not about looking a certain way that makes you successful. It is about living and breathing your passion day by day, by living by your highest excitement, moment to moment, not giving a fuck about what anyone else wants to do. It's what do I want to do, and I'm going to do that in every moment that I can. When you do what you love, you have this energy of excitement and of passion. It's amazing. And people love it and people want it. Whatever that thing is for you, whether it's a craft or a service or advice, whatever that might be, it is so valuable, and it's more valuable than anything you could ever put your time towards, because this is who you are. This is unique to you, and no one can do it like you do. So at the end of the day, if you're doing what you love every day and it makes you happy, and time essentially doesn't exist because you're in this state of flow and it doesn't feel like work, then you won. You want it life. It does not matter about who has the car. They're still living paycheck to paycheck. But you are fulfilled in a way. You are in a state of positive energy, of receiving, of healing, of peace, and no stress. Not only is your physiology going to be in check, you're in alignment with who you really are. You're not trying to be someone else and pursue this career and get this job and do all these things and work really, really hard for your money. You're not trying to do all that. You're going to be aligned with who you are and radiate you. That's literally why you're here. That is why you exist. Otherwise, you would not exist. The universe has so much for everyone. You don't have to work hard for your money. You just have to be yourself. So I'm just going to tell you the 4 principles right now, and then we'll go more deeply into each one individually. Principle number 1 is that you act on your highest excitement or your highest passion in every moment that you possibly can. 2, do it the best that you can, as often as you can, as long as you can, until the excitement runs out, and then you find the next thing that's exciting, and then you follow that path. 3, do this with absolutely no assumption and no insistence on what the outcome should look like. 4, no matter what manifests, you have to stay in a positive state so you could receive the benefit of whatever did manifest, even if what manifested isn't what you objectively prefer. Because you know that by staying in a positive state, everything happens for a reason. So this thing manifested for a reason, and you know that it is serving you something, so you're going to take what it is serving you, extract the benefit from the situation, and move on. Okay, that's literally it. That's literally it. Those are the 4 principles. That is all you have to do. And I'm going to explain it so you fully understand what I'm actually talking about. So obviously we've all heard of people say, act on your passion, just do what you're passionate about. And a lot of people are like, well, what is it that I'm passionate about? What is excitement? How do I know what that feels like? It is a sensation of joy, excitement, passion, curiosity, inspiration. For some reason, something just feels better than everything else. Every single moment we're presented with options. So in this moment, I had an option to record this YouTube video. I also had the option to stay home and to work on some stuff for work, option to hang out with my parents. I have the option to just lay in my bed and scroll on TikTok. You know, I have all these options. Out of all the ones that I feel like are accessible to me, one of them felt more exciting than all the others. Something was pulling me towards that. Some sense of excitement of like, oh, I'm really excited to tell people about the formula. So obviously for me, making this YouTube video was the most exciting thing I could do. And also, while I was setting up for this YouTube video, I decided to record a TikTok because in that moment, something was like, just record you setting up for it and then post it on TikTok. And I did it, immediately edited it and posted it. In every moment, there's going to be an option that is more exciting. Something that is like, ooh, I should do this. You don't have to think about, well, what does this have to do with my success? Well, how is this ever going to make me money? You need to break that mentality because that is not how this works. The idea is that these sensations that we feel, essentially your future self or higher self speaking to you through energy. They give us these sensations in order to pull us in a certain direction. So love, joy, peace, excitement, passion, curiosity, inspiration, all of these sensations and feelings that we feel as conscious beings is coming from our future self, the future version of ourselves that we want to be, the successful person that we want to be, the one living the dream reality. That version of you that already exists is pulling you through this energetic language. Our future self or higher self is constantly communicating with us through this energetic language. The only way it knows that we're listening is when we act on it. Action is the language of the physical world. And that's how the higher version of ourselves or the future version of ourselves is like, oh, okay, they're acting, they get it, and they're following the path. They're following the breadcrumbs I'm leaving them. They're actually pursuing the inspirations that I give them. Because you're asking to be someone, you're asking to have this life, and you think that, oh, I have a certain plan that I need to do. You know, I got to go to school, I got to get certified, and then I got to get this job, and this job can pay me this much. And then once I make enough money and I save enough here, then I can get into real estate. And then once I have a building, then I can rent out whatever, and then it can pay me this much. Like, oh, you're literally trying to write out a path when the universe is infinite. Literally, the universe is infinite. You can get to your millions and millions of dollars and your success and your happiness in much easier ways. Again, you don't need to work this hard, and you don't even need to think about how the heck this is going to happen. All you need to think about is, what do I feel like doing right now? What feels the most exciting to me? The moment this isn't exciting anymore of making this YouTube video, then what's more exciting? Editing the YouTube video. What's more exciting? Figuring out the thumbnail. What's more exciting? Posting the video. Right? Or maybe it's more exciting for me to go to bed, and then I go to bed, and then tomorrow, whenever it does feel more exciting is when I pick it back up. In every moment, we are being spoken to with our higher self, and it knows the quickest way. So we think that we know the path that we're supposed to take, and well, I can't get this position if this doesn't happen and this doesn't happen. I guarantee that if you just knew someone, if you knew the right people, or if you were in the right space with the right people, that you could get there without all of these things. You know how many times companies hire people that they know versus people with all the credentials and all the experience? Miracles literally happen every day. Drop this expectation that you understand how things work and that if I do this thing, then I'm expecting this to happen. If I get the certification, then I should get the job. You think you have control with things like that. When you pursue this formula, the way that I explained it, you cannot have that assumption and that insistence that, well, if I do act on my passion today and I decided not to go to work because it wasn't exciting, and I decided to stay home and watch movies all day, and I do this and I do that, and then I'm expecting to make money. I'm expecting the universe to gift me. You cannot have insistence and assumption that something's going to happen, because then again, you're stuck in that materialistic mentality. You're again trying to figure out how these things work. That's not your job. Your job is not to figure out how things work. Your job is to act on it. That is it. And through life, it unfolds synchronistically. But if you don't believe it, that's on you. That sucks, because you're the only one holding yourself back from having a much easier life, a much more fulfilling life. When you don't act on these inspirations and these passions and excitement in that moment, you're not communicating back to your higher self that, oh yeah, this is in alignment with who I want to be and I'm pursuing these things. Why would your higher self give you more opportunities? Already, every day, you are getting inspiration, you are getting these messages. And you might not even notice them because you are so deep in your physical world. A part of the awakening is learning to understand what these sensations feel like. Your intuition, that love coming from your future self, is pulling you in that direction. And that is the fastest path. You, in your tiny little spot on this earth, I guarantee you cannot figure out the fastest path. And I bet the path that you have in your head that you think is the fastest is probably long as shit. Literally drop it. It's already been figured out for you. Think of these sensations as a compass and know that you are on the right path. Obviously, you are going to get confirmation of that once you start pursuing, once you start acting. I'm not kidding you how many synchronicities that I get every day, and some of them are insane. The friends and family I have in my life that are also following this formula or are also getting synchronicities, and then they're telling me them, and I'm like, yeah, like literally this is how it works. Another way I want to explain what I mean by moment to moment, I literally mean moment to moment. If you think about a movie strip, each frame of the movie strip is separate. Only when you play it at a very fast speed does it look like one continuous motion. When you're watching a movie on TV, the moment you pause, that's a frame. It's a still frame. And the next frame, and the next frame, and the next frame. Literally me moving right now. This is frames upon frames of motion. Time is an illusion. We feel like we have time because there's this sense of movement in space. You have the opportunity in every frame to choose what you want to do and who you want to be. You can be chilling in your car, listening to jams in one frame, and then the next frame, boom, car crash, dead. Maybe you're chilling in your car listening to your tunes and you're like, oh, Starbucks, let me turn. And the car behind you gets boom, car accident, dead instead of you. Oh, excitement, yay. It's literally things like this. Is in every moment when you have that excitement and it feels genuine. The other thing I need to bring up is the feeling of anxiety versus excitement. They can feel so similar. With time, you're going to figure out what is anxiety and what is excitement. Because there are things that you feel pressure to do. The moment you feel pressure to do something and you judge yourself that like, oh, if I don't do this thing, or if I do this thing, then I'm bad, or I'm not good, or I'm not good enough, or whatever. That's anxiety. You don't want to act on anxiety. When you learn what excitement feels like or what passion feels like, it's not like you're literally like jumping up and down in every moment. You could be low energy, but for some reason, something sounds better than everything else. One option feels better than everything else. My alarm goes off and I wake up in the morning. I have a lot of options. I could jump up out of bed. I can scream at the top of my lungs. I can snooze my alarm, roll over, and get some more sleep. I can quietly just sit up in my bed, maybe scroll on my phone for a little bit. I can literally just lay there. I have a lot of options when I wake up. It's like any of those options, do the one that feels right in that moment and don't think about it. I'm not telling you to overanalyze every single moment. But what I'm saying is start to feel that feeling of like, oh, I want to do this, go do it. Do not think. The moment you think, you hesitate, and then you try to plan something out, and then it doesn't even turn out the way it was supposed to. Now you feel like you need to have control over something. For some reason, dinner comes around, and you're like, you know what? I want to have mac and cheese. You don't know why, but you want to have mac and cheese. So let's say you're going to make a box mac and cheese. So you go in your cabinet, and you grab the box mac and cheese, and you're looking at the back, and it says, oh, mom's recipe on the back. And you're looking at mom's recipe, and you're like, damn, I was supposed to call my mom yesterday, and I didn't. Maybe I should today. So now you're like, okay, I'm going to, start making this pasta, and then I'm going to call my mom. And then you call your mom. Maybe your mom tells you the thing that you needed to hear. Maybe your mom really needed to hear you. You have no idea how mac and cheese and your mom are related. Maybe your mom gives you an idea for the name of your business or the name of the book you're writing. You were having some troubled thoughts about something, and your mom said the thing that you wanted to hear without even telling her what it was. It's random things like that you had an excitement for the mac and cheese because you were going to be led to call your mom, and then your mom was going to give you the message that you needed, and then the message was exactly what you needed in this moment. Life gets really easy, and things happen really easy when you just follow inspiration and you don't even think about it. Like, I'm not like, okay, if I grab this water bottle, I'm following my excitement, I better get $1,000 check tomorrow. Like, relax. But things happen like that all the time. I promise you, there's times, like, literally, I had like a $2,500 return check in my account last month that I didn't expect because it was from like months ago that I was supposed to get it. And then I just got it and I was like, oh, whoa. Because let's say you think that your passion can't bring you money or it can't financially support you. So there's a story about a woman, and Darryl Anka shared this story before. She was someone who wanted to travel the world and just take photos. That's literally it. But she had no money. You know, traveling the world is very expensive. She was like, you know what? All I want to do is just travel the world and take photos, and that's it. That is what excites me. That is what I'm passionate about. And I don't know how, but I'm going to be supported by it. She acted on her passion. Instead of going and trying to find a job to support her, to maybe be able to take one trip, she literally contacted airlines and was like, listen, all I want to do is travel and take photos. Can you guys support me on my travels? And the photos that I do take, you guys can have and you can use them in your brochures. And she had like a little portfolio of any of the photos she's ever taken before and was like, these are the types of photos that I take. Would you be interested in this agreement? I'll give you my photos for free as long as I can just hop on your guys' planes and travel the world. Not only were her flights covered, her hotels were covered. She was staying at like 5-star hotels, food was covered. She was living like a queen. Like, she was just given all of this abundance. And if you think about the world that we live in now, she can make a YouTube channel about this stuff. She can make an Instagram page. She could sell her photos and make hella profit off of this. She doesn't have to worry about how she's going to pull money out of her pocket to go live her life and do the things she likes. She acted on her passion, on her inspiration, and was like, shoot your shot, right? You never know what's going to happen. And what happened was so much more magical than she would have ever expected. Act on your passion, but don't expect that if I do this thing, then I better get the deal. And so this is just another story that could be very similar to yours one day. Whatever it is that you know you're curious about, the thing that you can talk about for hours, the thing you've researched like your whole life, the thing that you, for some reason, just love to do, and you've loved doing it as a kid, you love doing it as an adult, but for some reason you're not pursuing it, or you wish you could pursue it. You act on your excitement, even if it's unrelated to the thing that you want to do. The unrelatedness, like you have no clue how things are connected. Let's say you want to be an actor. You might get an excitement today to try this local coffee shop that you've passed by. The person behind you is like, oh, hey, like I really like your shoes because this morning you had inspiration to put on these nice shoes that you typically don't wear, but today you're like, I don't know, I felt like wearing them, so I wore them. And you're like, hey, thanks. And they're like, yeah, so what's your name? And you're like, oh, I'm Audrey. And like, oh, what's your name? And then you're like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, oh, well, I'm actually like a casting director. Well, I'm an aspiring actor. Hey, let me get your number. You know, things like this happen literally every day. Follow your excitement every single moment as far as you can until the excitement runs out, and then you move on to the next thing that's exciting and the next thing that's exciting. And if it's exciting to go to bed, then you go to bed and you don't worry about the work that you didn't do, and you know that you'll get the inspiration to do it when you need to. Sometimes we even get this pressure of like, oh my god, I have all this work to do, but I don't feel like doing it right now. Like, I'd much rather do this. Divine timing. You're going to get the inspiration to do it, and you're going to get it all done exactly when you need to. Things happen exactly when they need to, and you need to have trust in that. Again, when things happen that you did not prefer, understand that this is exactly what was supposed to happen right now. This is serving you. There's one more story I need to tell you before we go. There was a guy, and he loved sound systems in his car. He's like, I'm not going to drive around with some old Honda Civic stereo system. He wanted to get the really nice sound system in his car that was like $10,000, but he was like, I genuinely cannot afford that right now. So he ended up settling for one that was like $2,000, right? $2,000 is still like a lot of money. So he still installed like a decent subwoofer and like an okay sound system in his car. And he was happy about it, you know? One day he comes to his car and he finds out that all the windows are smashed and his car got broken into. You know, when you come up to your car and you find out that your car has been broken into, most people are like, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened. Why did it happen right now? What am I going to do? Oh my God, like, how am I going to pay for this? I need to go to work. This man, nope. He understood how things work, and he's like, you know what? I know this is happening for a reason. It's fine. He just calls in his insurance, and he's not like mad, pissed, yelling on the phone. He's just like, hey, this happened. You know, like, what can we do about it? because he's in this positive energy. The insurance was like, oh, we'll cover everything. What insurance did was they gave him a check for how much they thought was going to cover the car. It ended up being more than what actually costed just the window repair, because I guess maybe they thought it was worse than what it really was. Well, the difference, the extra money they gave them, was exactly how much he needed to get the better sound system. He got the better sound system. You could look at your car getting broken into as this horrible thing, or you can stay in a positive mindset knowing that everything happens for a reason and then benefit from it. Literally was able to get the car sound system that he really, really wanted but couldn't afford, and magically got this money. Yeah, his car had to get broken into to get the money, but like, the universe works in magical ways, and things might disguise themselves as bad. That is just a perspective, right? Nothing is inherently good or bad. Everything is meaningless. But when you decide to look at everything as positive, as a way of serving you, because otherwise it wouldn't have happened in your life, it wouldn't have happened to you, then you take the benefit always. And then you can move forward synchronistically. Like, literally, life is so magical when you live by this formula. That was a lot. Let me know if you've already followed this formula. If you know Darryl Anka or Bashar, I know you know about the formula, and I'm pretty sure you follow it already. Or let me know if you try it, know how your life unfolds. Remember, do not have assumptions or insistence on how things should unfold. That, like, if I do this thing and if I follow this formula from this girl on YouTube, then I should expect my life. I should expect $10,000 in a month. I gave you the formula. I told you what to do. And I told you how it worked. So now it's in your hands. And I'm excited to see how it works for you. It's guaranteed ultimate success. So forget about all the get rich quick things that you've heard online and all these videos that you've watched and all these different businesses and different routes that you could take to make your money. Forget about all of that. If you just acted on your excitement in every single moment till you couldn't anymore, and you didn't think about how this was connected to your success and the way that you define success, and you stay in a positive mindset, you won. Good luck, and I love you.